Today we're going to be talking about acoustic echo cancellation. I am excited to talk about one of my favorite subjects here, conferencing. Acoustic echo cancellation, or AEC, basically prevents unwanted delay from being transmitted back to the far end caller after it gets picked up by the near end mic. Okay, so let's talk about the hardware. We have our flagship product here, the Radius NX. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the setup procedure. This is my process that I would go through to set up a conference room. Okay, so you've already designed your site file, you've installed everything, you've hooked everything up, and now you're going to make sound. Step one, you want to start with the power amps turned all the way down, because with a conference room, the gain structure is very, very, very important. So starting with the amp completely off, we're going to push our site file, and then we are going to check the microphones. So gain structure, it all starts with the microphones. That's the beginning point of the gain structure, and you want to get the microphones so that they're reading at about -20 on the meters. And if you do that, then everything else should be really, really easy. So first step of your gain structure is get the microphones coming in correctly. Okay, so then we're talking about the gain structure throughout the whole rest of the system, from the inputs all the way to the outputs. So we want to get the gain structure on any presentation audio that's coming in. I put a red box around basically everything in here that has control of the gain. And here's a little piece of advice for you. If you leave everything at 0, that is going to be your best bet to integrate this system easily. So at this point, this is when we want to actually establish a call. Once you actually have the far end caller coming in through the system, then you're going to bring the amplifier volume up to the appropriate volume in the room. So the next step, if you need to make any other adjustments, if you need to adjust the near end mics, turn them up or down for the far end, you can do that. Then you can look at the ERL levels and the ERLE levels. Again, once you actually have the far end caller coming in through and coming out of the speakers in the room, getting picked up by the microphones, that's when something will actually show up on the ERL and ERLE meters, but not until then. So again, we want the ERL meter to be a negative number. Around -20 is ideal, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But again, the ERL is basically a visual indication of how hard the AEC process has to work to remove the echo. It's normally going to be a negative number. If it's positive or really negative, then it's going to indicate a gain structure problem. So at this point, don't adjust the amplifiers. Okay, next step, if the far end caller is telling you they still have a little bit of echo, you could try NLP, maybe moving that to medium if you need it. NLP, it's useful for removing like a secondary or like kind of like an indirect echo that might come through, or reverb. Okay, noise cancellation. So this is where you would enable noise cancellation if at this point the far end caller is telling you, wow, I'm hearing like this constant hum sound or a buzz, and you realize one of the microphones is hanging right next to the projector fan. That's where noise cancellation comes in. And then finally, engage AGC if you need to compensate for varying distances between the near end and participants and their microphones. It basically attempts to maintain a consistent level for better intelligibility. Thanks everybody for sticking with me. I really appreciate everybody's patience and going through this with me. All right. Well, everybody have a great day.